What is the major obstacle I think that all of us have? Time. Oh, time is such a beautiful thing. Time is such a challenge. Time is something that, well, I think at the end of the day, if we don't use it properly, it's frustrating. If we begin the day, we begin to organize, we know exactly which way we want to go. We have that business plan put together, those five important things that we want to accomplish during the day, then we could use our time effectively. What I have found with speaking so working through different challenges that people face, a lot of it has to do with marketing. How do I get myself in front of other people? How do I get my website seen? If I'm doing a podcast, a vodcast, if I'm doing a show, if I'm a guest someplace, if I'm doing anything, how do I get that information out and get that information out effectively on the various social media sites? How do you do that? Well, I'm going to bring on a guest today that is going to explain how he approaches it. And I can tell you, I will vouch for him right off the bat because this is a system that I've been using also to help me save some time, to help me approach this world of social marketing in a different manner where it's a lot easier to do. And I could focus more on the content rather than focusing on making sure it's formatted properly for each of the different websites and making sure the information gets out. You've listened to a few of the podcasts I've done in the past about, you're going to have a guest on your show. How do you make sure that guest is excited about being on the show? Promote the show. Make it as easy as possible for that person to be on. How do you drive business to someplace? How do you get people to want to work with you? You have to show your own level of excitement. A proper post is a great way of doing it. An improper post, well, that might just show you don't care that much, or you're not putting that much energy and effort into it. So here's our guest today. He's the founder of All Things Digital. He's been a great friend of mine, and I met him in one of the best different ways to do that, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. James Martinez. Mr. Martinez, it is absolutely a pleasure to have you with us. And, I go back to that way I met you. We both decided to volunteer there to help out on social media discussion or marketing discussions with a group. And, that is probably one of the best ways to meet people, I think, that have got it in their heart to really, truly help people. So it's an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's definitely been fun meeting you. And I was actually on a call yesterday with our buddy Dave Gussin. So a lot of good things came out of the Long Island Marketing Cares Initiative. And meeting you was one of them.
Same here. I've been asked the question about, how do you approach marketing? How do you do that nowadays? It's so much harder. It's like, no, not really. Because no matter what, those that really care will always rise to the occasion in different manners. So depending upon the business or all the rest of that stuff, there's different ways about going out and doing it. And in meeting, it was a group of 10 different marketing people. Everybody had their own approach to it. And we were all in the same category, yet total different approaches. And I think there was a lot of value with that whole thing. So it was fun. It was great. And I actually learned so much from so many people.
Yep, I did as well. Look, I don't think anybody knows everything. So I'm always learning, you know what I mean? Every time I speak to someone, I like to learn and share what I know, you know what I mean? I don't think there's any definitive right or wrongs. There's only here's what are the results are in my experience,
Right. But it's also different segments of it too. One category, yet I think that 10 of us, there was some overlap in different things. Like, look, do I help with digital marketing? Yeah, but I'm not an expert in it in any way, shape, or form. But the way I approach marketing is more voice oriented. The way you approach marketing is more just, I guess, flat out digital. Is that a fair thing to say?
Yeah, right. That's why I named it that. But yeah, I love it. I just love it. You know what I mean? If it's on a computer, if it's a way to communicate, get a message across. I love to do it. My wife asks how I get by without sleeping. I enjoy it. If you enjoy what you're doing, you never work a day in your life, right? So that's one of the things I enjoy doing is all things web, all things digital. If it's a website or a video or audio or an email or whatever it is, it's just I just enjoy it. So that's what I've been playing with for decades now, and it keeps me entertained, surprisingly.
Well, everything keeps changing and changing so frequently. So I guess that really works on your side as well as ours. And that's why I'm kind of reaching out to you. And at different times, it's like, okay, like, how do I do this? And in the different ways, everything changes. Keywords maybe hasn't changed too much. Utilizing them properly, well, that probably has much more than I even know. So going, and that's where I think it really makes sense to rely on somebody like you with doing this. All right, so let's get into, so the whole idea between Tomato Talk is that advancing through obstacles. You started using or created, buddy, also from that time management standpoint.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. So I mean, everybody's always talking. You got to do social. You got to do social. So, one of the things that even I myself, when I would get involved with social media management for clients or for myself, one of the things is there, crossing, what is it, dotting the i's and crossing the t's. So for me, I would, I started realizing people would say, social media doesn't really work for me, and blah blah blah, and then I'd kind of take a look, and there's times where it doesn't work for me either. Surprise, surprise. But the thing that I did notice is that in my opinion, the more consistent you are with something, the more consistent you do anything, the easier it is to, see the results of what it is you're doing. If you do something different every single time you do it, you're probably never going to improve at it. If you throw a ball a different way every single time with a different hand and a different overhand and under, you're never really going to develop that fastball that you're looking to get because you're doing 10 different things. So one of the things with social media is that I noticed a lot of people were doing social media, but doing it in different ways, myself included. So I said, why was I not getting the results for certain things that I wanted from social media? And I just realized that there was key components that were not enabling me to get the results, in my opinion. Now, there were things that I was doing, and I see lots of other businesses and business owners doing that don't help you to get the results you're looking for. So it's kind of like, once I sat back and I said, well, what are those key components? I said, okay, well, how can I ensure that I'll have those key components moving forward so that I can see the results that I'm looking for? Because if I leave 2 or 3 key components out every single time, well, then it's inconsistent and it's not going to work. So that's eventually why I created a tool for myself to use on my own social media, and yeah, I've been using it. I've been getting my results from it, happy with my results from it, and then other people said started noticing it, and so I shared with them what it is I use, which is that so the Social Post Buddy Chrome extension.
Yeah, which I started using a little while ago, picking up on it a little bit more. And, it's super easy and it helps me deliver that all important message. Not exactly, obviously who the guest is going to be, but showing the guest that I've taken an extra step to do something to promote the show. That makes them much more excited about being on. In fact, the guest that I have coming up, he even commented on it. It's like, man, that is just great. How'd you do it? It's like, well, you got to speak to James. But it was easy to do. And like I said in the beginning too, I was really able to focus on the content with it, not how do I put it on different places and stuff like that. So we should just do it the first time, boom, done. Make some minor changes up. I get to change the photos around a little bit. So it was great. So super easy to do. So why don't we get into, some of the actionable side of this, for our guests. We all know we need to do social marketing. We all need to need to do it better and better, being more efficient. The online world continues to grow. And I think that statement is probably an understatement. It'll certainly continue on. So is there anything that you'd like to share, with us about some of the basics, what not to do, maybe what should be done on the marketing side of things?
Yeah, I mean, as far as social media, right? If you spend time doing something every day and never see results from it, that's going to get old pretty quick. So, one of the things and the reason why I did create the Chrome extension Social Post Buddies, because so many companies have little components of these different things. So the components that I found to be the important components on a social media post, right? On any post, no matter which medium you're using. Most people generally first things first think of Facebook. when you use Facebook, if every day you're posting to Facebook, but you really don't have a direction, you don't have the what I call the critical components for a good post, then you're not going to get the results of it, right? So even I myself, when I would post something on Facebook, whatever, at this point, a couple years ago, I'd spend all this time on either, whatever, a service, a product, an offer. And so I'd spend all this time creating this thing. And then I would go and I'd say, hey guys, here's this, go check it out, and if it was something on my website, right, maybe I would post a graphic that told them what it was that I'm trying to share with them. But then I didn't put a link to my website. Well, duh, now they got to go and go, type in and try and find my website and, maybe go to the, click from the post to my page name. And once they get to my page name, then they click on the about. And once they click on the about, now they can go to the website. And once they see the website there, they click on it and go to it. It's all about reducing that friction. So to me, I said, okay, well, dummy, put the URL in every single post. Put the URL in, right? And so I had a little notebook, and I said, okay, always include in social media posts URL. Duh. Now it seems like such a simple thing, but a lot of people don't do it. And so if it's like, hey, I have this on sale now, okay, great. Now what? Well, click the link below to go check it out. Great. Now you just reduced the friction for me. So including the URL is like an important friction point, So by having it there, you reduce the friction. They see the post, they're interested, boom, they click on a link, it opens up right to the page, right to the service, right to the offer, right to the event, right? Like, so, that was like a real critical component to me. So I always wanted to include a URL. Then the other thing I started noticing is, right, hashtags became all the rage. You're like, oh my God, you got to hashtag this, hashtag that. So now I would have a post and I'd say, hey, whatever, I'm offering X amount on my websites, click here. So now I have the link. But guess what? I would forget that, if people search, if people are using hashtag to quickly browse through stuff, if they're looking at hashtag entrepreneur tips, right? Well, guess what? If I don't have hashtag entrepreneur tips in my post, they're not going to see it. But how many people every month are looking for, are browsing via that hashtag? Even if it's not that many, just by having it there, that increases my post visibility, right? So I said, well, hey, you know what? It's good to have a hashtag in every single social media post. So there I go again with my pen and paper, and I go add a hashtag, all right, great, So, and it continues on, right? So components like a URL, the hashtag, how do you make your post stand out? Oh, well, people started getting comfortable with emojis. Oh, I want emojis. Okay, great. So now I'm back to my notebook. Make sure you add emojis to make it stand out. And then, when you read a newspaper, what's the first thing you do? You look at the headlines. Does the headline interest you? Then you delve into the article. So I said, well, it's probably pretty good to have a headline on my post. Here's what this is about. So there I go again. Now I make a headline, all caps on my. And so it got to the point where, emojis, hashtags, URLs, headlines, and then also in the text itself, people didn't even realize you can bold stuff, you can italicize stuff. I said, well, there's the next step. Make sure you bold the important components of your post. Hey guys, I'm offering websites with 50% off. Let me bold the 50% off. And there I go again, back to my pen and paper. So that's why I said, let me create a tool so that I can stop forgetting these things. A tool that literally says, hey, what are you going to use, for this emoji? What emoji are you going to use for this post? What's the headline of this post? What's the content of this post? What's the URL that this post should go to? And after checking off boxes on pieces of paper for months, I finally said, I gotta get a little bit digital with this. And that's why I created the Chrome extension Social Post Buddy to help myself. And that's where it came from.
It's another obstacle leading the way, right? It definitely is.
Reduce that friction to making a great post. That's the idea.
Yeah. Cindy, you're talking about the friction on the consumer side, going back to your website. I'm thinking about the friction, and this is what I had. It was the friction of doing all of this stuff. It's like, oh, I now got to write it out. Well, if I write it out all the time, you think I'm going to remember to, make sure this is bold, that call to action. Yeah, I'll probably remember that. But, putting in the website, and then one thing I don't like doing is going back and correcting that silly little spelling error someplace. It's like, then you got an edited post. And I always wonder too, if somebody puts a post up and it's edited, it's like, did you really know what you wanted to say if you got to edit it? So I get a few of those, I look in the mirror, on those also. So it's great to have those reminders there, and you get to read it there as, on your, let's call it the worksheet, when it's still on the extension before you're posting it anyplace else. So that stuff is really good. Super easy to use. It's great. It helps me remove some of that friction, as you phrased it,
Right.
including those keywords and the keywords and hashtags. That's something I don't know. Let me just ask about that. The keywords used to be keywords. Now they're hashtags. Is one more important than the other? Same.
Well, it depends on how different people use them. When people, people say on social media, you go down a rabbit hole, right? If people are in a particular mood and they want a particular type of content, what they'll do is they use those hashtags. If I'm in the mood to hear original music and I'm on whatever, I'm on Facebook, I'm on a Facebook watch, I'm like, let me see what kind of original music people are posting. I may do a search hashtag original music, and then what happens is every video is a video that has that hashtag. So I'll click through and okay, this guy's music's pretty cool. Hey, maybe I'll like the video. I'll follow them. I'll check out the page. And so now I'm going through, original music. So like I said before, entrepreneur tips. If somebody's like, you know what, I think I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to start searching through social media, to potentially make my own, make my own business. And I want tips. People go down that rabbit hole. So when people are on YouTube automatically suggests stuff, right? But the thing is, when you're trusting their algorithm, when you're going based upon hashtags, these are the content makers themselves, literally categorizing their content. So for the strategies of success, it'd be great to have a hashtag strategies of success, so that people always look at all the videos that you put out, or hashtag, new website design, right? If it'd be great if I had that on mine, because if somebody's like, I want a new website design, let me just see what people are doing. People who do have new website designs out there, people who are website designers, or they got a new website. So the hashtags are really about categorizing the content you want to see, and then letting people go down that rabbit hole to really get in the rabbit hole and see everything that there is possible to see within that category of content. So it's kind of like self-categorization of your content, so that you could get in front of your ideal audience. It's not the end all be all. You know what I mean? I think you got to have all of these components and be consistent with them. But I think having some sort of focus, some sort of strategy, and something to remind you to keep that strategy in mind is even better. So that's why I included it on there.
To remind you, I think it's almost like you have to, you put in that link in there. So that's one thing, is your call to action. And then the hashtags is super easy, and it remembers. So yeah, I absolutely do use strategies of success. So if I'm out there talking, it's like, how do I find you is always a question. And I got a secret for you. If you Google Brian Cohen, there's a lot of us. So I became very aware of these keywords, or that kind of thing, earlier in the game than maybe others have a bit more of a unique name. So if I'm getting this right from a consumer standpoint, if I go to a hashtag, I could be proactive, where it's me looking for you or looking for the content, as opposed to the keywords, where it's more the algorithms then kind of categorizing me.
Right. Yeah, it's the algorithm's going to do what it does, but at least you have some control over how you categorize yourself too. So it works out both ways, for it works out for both the content creator, and it also works out for the the person consuming it, the consumer, so it goes both ways. And yeah, I think it's just a good way to be consistent, be consistent with your content, be consistent with so that if people are going down that rabbit hole, if you got a great a trending hashtag, right, and you just so happen to have put out, 100 videos and you included that hashtag. Well, if they keep seeing Brian Cohen's face pop up, all of a sudden this Brian Cohen guy is a bit of an influencer on business strategies and success. So maybe I need to check him out and get in touch with him. So that's kind of the idea, is to really take a hashtag, and you can either hop on the hashtag train and be a part of it, or you can create your own hashtag and hopefully develop it into something that kind of takes off for you, So that's why you'll see people include real weird hashtags too, and it's like some hashtags, my son was showing me a hashtag the other night. I think it was like XYZ ABC 123 or something like that. And he's like, yeah, this hashtag's trending. And it meant absolutely nothing. But by having that hashtag in the content, for some reason, the algorithm, it was just feeding it. So it's kind of this sort of, self-perpetuated, craziness that happens. So, like I said, I don't think it's the end all be all of every single thing you need to do, but it's just one more piece of the puzzle, in my opinion, that can get you to be more consistent with what you do.
Yeah, sooner or later, the content's got to count for something.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to hashtag your way to stardom with junky content for sure,
Oh, there's been a few people that have done that,
Yeah, well, yeah. Hey,
it's not the world I want to live in. It's not the world I live in with the folks that I'm working with. And I'm sure the same thing holds true with you, so it's there. Listen, you mentioned about consistency being like really probably the most important thing. Now, whether it be on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, whatever it is, but certainly consistency is a factor in there. Is there any examples you want to give of maybe what could be better on a consistency factor, or just talk through what would be realistically consistent for, a company that you're working with?
Well, I mean, when anybody gets in touch with me in regards to social media, you know, like what's that saying? Always be present, right? And that to me is an important thing that people don't do. Even if you're not creating earth-shattering content every day and all that stuff, I think that consistency on social media is really, really important. So if you're not posting regularly, then chances are when you do post, people aren't really going to see it, right? And if you're not posting regularly, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to grow. So I think in regards to social media and consistency, one of the things I always recommend for people is just try and show up. You know what I mean? So if you post daily, it doesn't have to be like I said, this incredible thing that you created. You spent 2 hours on a blog last night on Sunday night, and boom, you posted on a Monday, and then Monday night you spent another 2 hours on something. And no, being at least just showing up with a, hey guys, here's what's going on with us. Here's pictures from the store. Here's pictures from the shop. Here's what I'm working on in my business. What are you guys up to? It can't be all about the business, right? So it's always nice when people post a thing, here's a recent client, here's some work that we did at this beautiful house in this area. Now you're spotlighting your customers, and making them feel good. Like, wow, this company that I just hired really did a great job on my X, whatever it is. Just being consistent and posting regularly, in my opinion, is a good thing to do. And then the next step, besides posting consistently, is having a good strategy to what you're posting. So if I could say anything as far as consistency in social media, it's just consistently post. Post regularly. Post. In a perfect world, if you could post something daily, that's fantastic, because you may not get 1 million likes every single day, but at least you're showing up. At least you're staying, top of mind, right? That's part of the tomato there. So how do you stay top of mind if you're hiding somewhere and nobody's going to see you? It's tough to stay top of mind if you're hiding in a closet somewhere, So post regularly, post content, and just show up, and that'll keep you top of mind. And hopefully, in turn, you're doing the right strategies with your posting to drive people to where you want them to do the action, to go to your website, to give you that call, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I think one of the groups that have the top of mind is like super important is those personal injury attorneys, or the body repair shop, because if you get
Right.
in an accident, you can always send your car to wherever you want to go to. Let me tell you, if you get in an accident, you might not be thinking 100% straight. So, how does that person, especially the auto repair person, how does that person stay top of mind? Which is that I think is an unbelievable challenge, because they may not be sitting there going to the hashtag,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. They just got to remember that name. So,
Yeah.
right, more of probably more there of a daily post of some sort. And as you mentioned, you're right. I don't think it needs to be a monumental post, but just
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I got into an accident today, and when I got home and whatever, I decided to take a break and go to the bathroom or sit on the porch and look out at the street, and there I am on Facebook, and all of a sudden I see the repair shop around the corner. I know I got to call somebody, and I'm just taking a quick breather, but I see a post from whatever Quorum Automotive, and hey, here's another satisfied customer. They had a problem and their car got dented or whatever, and here's what we did for them, and there's a picture of a smiling person who just had their car fixed. Well, that one post may take you a minute to do, but if it turns into a $2,000 insurance repair job, hey, that's good time invested, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. If that person's posting once a month, probably not going to be top of mind. Posting
Exactly.
every day, every other day, every something. So folks definitely have to come up with that every something, whatever that might actually be. And don't you're right. If they take so much time doing it, then you got to wonder. It's like, are you really working for a living, or are you doing this?
Right.
So we'll go back to that time management thing. And that is where they would hashtag somebody like you, or look up somebody like you. It's like, how do I save time, do this thing efficiently, maybe do it with me, maybe hire you to just flat out do the whole thing and the rest of that. So James, what is a typical client that you're working with? So this way our guests can get an idea as to whether or not they should be reaching out to you in that respect.
I work with lots of different industries, and so I definitely don't have I mean, I have several different industries that I kind of work in, but you know social media is for every industry, in any industry. So regardless of myself, it doesn't matter what business you're in. If you're in the process of receiving money from somebody, it's good to have a social media strategy. And like we just said, from an entrepreneur looking to start his own coaching business, or a mentoring business, or a fitness business. He's opening a gym. He's got a mechanics shop. He's a contractor. I work with lots of no matter what it is, a good social media strategy is in my opinion, it's key. You know what I mean? It definitely should have it. So there's, I hear some people say, oh, well, that doesn't really, social media doesn't really work for my type of business. And I don't know, I've been hard pressed to find a business or an industry that social media can't help. What sort of business, do people, what sort of business do you not want people to know about it? You know what I mean? Unless it's like a criminal enterprise. Maybe
That might be
criminal
it.
enterprises don't want to have a good social media presence. But other than that, if you're doing legal business, then I
So,
think,
that's the
any
category.
industry is worthwhile. I mean, I work with all sorts of different industries, and from websites to social media management to all of that stuff. So no matter who you are, you can utilize it in some way, shape, or form for your business, in my opinion.
Right. Or even signing up to Social Post Buddy just to get started, the whole
Yeah.
thing, which, kind of works, also besides the development with everything. So, James, contact information besides the James at atdny.com. Website that you prefer people go to?
Oh, well, anybody can go to, www.atdny.com. If you're interested in, Social Post Buddy, what it is, the extension, if you wanted to take advantage of something that helps you not forget all of these different things, then you can go to socialpostbuddy.com, and check it out there, or get in touch with me and I can get you set up with it. But I do have demos there, and I do have demos on the web, and if we could do a demo if you wanted to. But it's readily available, and quite frankly, it's at the end of the day, it's everybody's looking for they got the shiny object syndrome. They're looking for the next secret, the next key, the next this, the next that. On my call with our buddy Dave Gustin yesterday, I was having this conversation where everybody's looking for the secret. There is no secret, in my opinion. There is no secret, besides the off chance of going viral because you post a video of yourself tripping over a hot dog at an ice skating rink or so. There's besides that stuff. I think that the secret is consistency and a good strategy. So if you're interested in a good strategy, as far as your social media posting, definitely I think Social Post Buddy is a good option for you to help you not forget and to help you not have to sit there and write stuff down. You can just use the extension to help you remember those things and literally walk you through the process of making a great post and then reducing the friction for you to post it to these different elements. I have it built right into the software. You literally create the post, click a button, and boom, it'll open up your Facebook for you or your YouTube or your Twitter or whatnot. So that's the idea, is reducing friction for you to create great social media content and then reducing the friction for the consumer to give you the results that you want. You reduce the friction by sending them to your website, sending them to your Facebook page, sending them to that offer, and getting them to convert and either call you or get in touch,
That might be the new hashtag for you, reducing friction.
I say it a lot. I do say it a lot.
That's okay. That's a good word to repeat quite often. James, so why don't we make a date? We'll have you come back on and we'll really do like a workshop kind of a setup over here, with the Social Post Buddy, because I've been using it, love it, really simple to use. There certainly is a strategy with everything, and I'm sure I'll pick up a few hints about things I really should be doing that I think I'm doing that maybe I'm not doing.
Yeah. I have a Facebook group for Social Post Buddy, and I do have more so users or get in touch with me directly in regards to certain things with it. And I have considered, another thing that people wonder, right, is what do I post? I got to post every day. What do I got to post? So I was considering setting up, weekly workshops. Like, hey, we just get on, we get together once a week on, whatever, Friday night or Sunday night or something like that for an hour. And I come up with all the topics for the week, because people go to my social media and they're like, man, where do you come up with all of this stuff? So I have several different ways of coming up with content ideas. But, you don't have to really reinvent the wheel. Just share stuff about your business, and also share your customers, share your successes. But yeah, if people are interested in potentially learning more about Social Post Buddy, I do have a group. Just search on Facebook, Social Post Buddy. You'll find the page, you'll find the group, and they can either get in touch with you or myself to, learn a bit more about it, watch video demos on it. We could potentially do a demo together. And then at the end of the day, it provides value to me. I can tell you that much. It provides a lot of value to me. So I really don't see a business, or anybody who uses social media for business, I don't see it not being helpful to them or their employees. I have certain companies that have multiple users. So, different departments using it, you know what I mean? So that there's just, reducing the friction of creating the social media saves you money. It saves you time, which is money. So it saves you time, and then it also gets you better results. That's the idea. So feel free to get in touch with myself or Brian Cohen to discuss maybe how social media with Social Post Buddy can help your business.
Yeah, no, I love the idea, especially on the creating content. That's always a question, Tiff. So I'm going to do a podcast. What am I going to talk about? It's not that hard. You just got to write it all out, as you're going through your normal course of business, and all of a sudden those topics are there. You just can't wait for the camera to come on and say, oh, now what am I going to talk about? Although, I'll leave that one as the cliffhanger. Although. Hey, James, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But again, we'll have you back on. We'll have a part 2 to this thing for the Social Post Buddy, and I'll put up a bunch of the links too as we go through this about how to reach out to you with the different sites. And then also, folks, you can see the posts that I do, which are using most of the posts that I do are using Social Post Buddy, especially when I am marketing these different guests that come on over here. So it's all good. James, have an absolutely wonderful day, my friend. Always appreciate your comments.
Yep. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Always good to see you. Hopefully I'll speak to you soon.
Without a doubt. So there you go. Time management is an interesting thing. How you approach saving time can be done so many different ways. Doing it socially with a Social Post Buddy, that could be certainly it. Delegating your social media to James, a company like James, all things digital, absolutely another way of doing it. But we continue to rely on social media, be it the different social media sites or the website or whatever. Algorithms are picking up keywords. Maybe people are looking for your company. Maybe they're looking for comments about some service or product that you're providing. Therein lies the ability and the importance of using the various hashtags. There's always obstacles that come up, and there's always way to advance through those obstacles, work your way through those things. Always different ways of doing it. Reach out to people. You're going to get different ideas from different folks, and that's one of the things I love about having somebody on like James. The different ideas that not only that he has, that he understands that other people have too. So it's a real, very symbiotic relationship, great networking, great everything. Always good ideas come from people that want to move forward. That is the key. And those people speak well, they speak often, and they live inspired. Have an absolutely fantastic day.